Hello, Steve Feld, the Biz Coach. How are you today?
Good, and yourself?
Man, I am awesome. I mean, look, I'm going to date this recording because we're expecting Hurricane Ian to head this way, but other than that, totally awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Steve.
Well, I'm Biz Coach Steve Feld. I'm a business marketing strategist. Business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, they hire me to crack multiple 6 and even 7 figures without burning themselves out. And let's see, I have a podcast host. I've got 6 books done, and we were just talking about it. 2 more are going to be finalized very, very soon. So 8 books on business for small business owners. And I'm a coffee enthusiast.
Yeah, you named your YouTube channel. What'd you name it? It was coffee.
Biz Coach and Coffee.
Biz Coach and Coffee. There you go.
Podcast. My newsletter is The Full Bean.
The Full Bean.
Everything's around coffee, and it's
so.
And I even have my own brand of coffee.
Do you really?
Yes, I do.
What is the brand of coffee? What is it?
It's actually called Biz Coach and Coffee. Your business should be buzzing, not boring.
I love it. I love it. All right. So I'm fascinated by the fact that you help businesses get to that multiple 6 and 7 figure breakthrough. So would it be fair to say that you're not dealing with startups, not the beginner solo entrepreneur type operations?
I actually have a whole program for startups. It's an automated program in my business academy because you know what? They need a lot of love. They need help. And a lot of people jump into business knowing how to build a better widget. And they worked at that widget factory for 20, 30 years. And they're like, I can make a better widget. So they leave and they start a company. And they're so focused on, I need a business card. I need a logo. I need a website. I need all this. And they're focusing on the wrong things. They need to focus on sales. And that's something that they've never touched in their life. And they don't know about sales and marketing. They don't know about business itself. Yeah. They thought it looked easy when they worked for someone, but they didn't realize the company had people that did all these compartmental things. Now that you're a business owner, guess what? You're wearing all the hats.
Right. I have in the past done a lot of work with home service type companies, the roofers, the plumbers, the HVAC companies. Oh, yeah. And most of the people that I dealt with were larger companies because, the things I offered were of value to them, but they were expensive to the smaller operator.
Right.
And the one thing that I always found to be in common with that smaller operator was they came from a bigger operation and thought he could do it so much better himself. They were charging too much, or they did things wrong. And it's like, all right, well, I've got my pickup truck and my LLC. I'm in business.
That's it.
It's like, buddy, you don't even know what business is yet.
Yeah. So that's why the business failure rate is so high. And those numbers haven't changed since 1932. According to, all the data, it's there because people hop into business not knowing business.
Right. What was that famous book that's been out forever, The E-Myth, right?
Yeah.
The E-Myth. It's like, you think you're in the HVAC business, you think you're a CPA, you think you're a bookkeeper. Right. And Dan Kennedy's famous for this. You're not.
You're not.
You're sales business. And the thing that you're selling is that service.
That's it. I mean, I've owned and operated 7 businesses and turned 3 others around. At one of the turnarounds, I even went to the accounting department. You're all salespeople. And I almost had to revolt my hands. And I taught them, every time you talk to a vendor, a supplier, a customer, anyone, anytime you talk to anyone here, we're selling the business. You're always selling. You're all part of our sales team. And once they got that in their head, guess what? Our whole company sales started going up because I did it in every single department.
And don't you find it interesting that when you get on the phone with your cable company or your phone company or any place like that, a larger organization, I'm not saying I'm talking about Verizon, right?
Yeah.
That type of phone company. And anytime you get on the phone with these guys, they solve your problem, but if you're on hold, what are they doing? They're giving
Selling
you
you.
offers, not just one offer, two offers, three. I was on hold with Wow, with some issue, and I heard at least 6 different offers while I'm on hold, right? And then when you're done, they want to upsell you. Like
That's
you do
it.
the service, and then they want to give you another opportunity to increase the package size so that they can, and you think, oh man, I'm so tired of this. They're going to do it. All right. Well, that may be the case, for 3 or 4% of the people. Let me reverse that. 90% of the people don't care. 95% of the people don't care.
Right.
They don't want, but it's that 5% that will take them up on a package increase. And when you multiply that across millions of customers,
It adds up.
it
And
adds up.
small business owners are not taking advantage of like these little hidden nuggets, if you will, of opportunity.
Small business owners, they don't even take advantage of a CRM and building a customer database and emailing and okay, now you have hit a my pet peeve here, right? Okay, you hit a my pet peeve, and that is that everybody has one of these,
That's it.
and nobody is communicating to their prospects or clients through it.
Exactly.
Is that okay? I appreciate all the folks out there saying you have to build an email list and the money's in the list. The money's in the phone, man, because 65% of the people aren't even going to read your email.
Right.
But 98% of the people will read your text.
Yeah.
So why aren't you messing around with business class texting? It's like, I don't understand this. All right. So you had mentioned that there are, I think you said 4 elements to a successful business. Am I misunderstanding that?
I think there's a lot. I think a lot of business owners just don't know the basics of business itself because they need to really focus on sales and marketing first.
Okay.
And I hear this from God, I don't know, I talk to so many business owners and they all say the same thing. Like, I hate accounting. It's like, well, numbers are the language of business. So if you don't know your numbers, you're in trouble.
Hey, all you bookkeepers and CPAs out there understand this, right? You are also in the same category.
Oh my gosh. I spoke to a CPA last week and I said, okay, I said jokingly, let me guess, you do your own books. And they're like, yeah. And I go, did you file an extension this year? And they go, yeah, how'd you know? And I'm thinking, a plumber always has a leaky faucet at home.
Right.
Same thing.
Yeah.
It's part of the game. I go, but don't you see that as a problem in your own business? And then they stop to think about it like, I guess you're right. Same thing with business owners. It's like, that's a problem in their business.
Yeah.
They don't know the numbers. So you're not looking at your own data to make your own business decisions. And you're a CPA.
Right. You're the CPA. Let's put it in numbers that people who are watching this can actually understand. And that is, a number of years ago, I think the average per hour earning of an entrepreneur was somewhere around $300, $350 an hour.
Yeah.
All right. So if you are a CPA and you're doing your own books and you spend 10 hours doing that, well, you have just cost yourself $3,500.
Yeah.
Right. Could you afford to have somebody else do your books for that? Probably.
Yeah.
Right. And now you don't have to worry about all of it. You're getting a report on the details. And so, yeah, it makes sense. I mean, it's like when you quantify something for them, it's like, well, it's like, why are you doing the work of somebody who should be making $15, $20, $25 an hour, as opposed to the things that you can do that will earn you $300 and $350 an hour.
I see it all the time with business owners. So they spend a Saturday and a Sunday every month frustrating themselves all day, all night, doing their books, data entry, running a report, even in QuickBooks or whatever. They don't know what they're really doing. They don't understand it. and all they do is get aggravated and frustrated. So it takes them, say, 30 hours to do it every month. They could have hired someone. They could have done it in 2 hours, and they love it. And it would save them time, money, frustration, aggravation, and definitely an ulcer.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot more to opportunity cost than just the actual dollar amount. If you're doing it on the weekend, now you're talking about family time.
Family time. And I see it all the time with business owners. It's like, listen, I have a degree in accounting. I love numbers. Do I do my own books? Heck no. And here's why. I know, so I could pay someone, they're going to do it in an eighth of the time, and they love doing it. Whereas I'm like, I really don't want to do it.
Right.
But why would I do it to myself?
I don't know. Look, I'm a marketer. I love marketing. I will talk
Same
marketing.
thing with marketing. Yeah.
I'll talk marketing all day long. The problem is that I really am not good at marketing myself. I'm too myopically focused on the wrong things, and in fact, I just hired a mentor to guide me, because I can't see the things that are really important. I mean, I know what should be done.
Right.
I can help you, right? I can help you in a second. I can see the things that you should be doing, the things that you're not doing, and the things that you haven't even thought about doing. Right. And it would just a nanosecond, I can figure that out. But when I look at myself, it was like, oh man, you get stuck in that perfectionist mode. You get stuck in that creative mode. You get stuck. Well, is this message right? Is that message right? Nothing goes out. It's like, now what? Right. And I think every business owner suffers to that, to some degree, in that, mentality. It was like, well, I don't need to hire somebody because I already know how to do that.
Yeah. And I even have 2 coaches, and people ask me like all the time, like, why do you have a coach? I go, are you kidding me? I can only see what I can see. They see something different in me, and they have me open up the blinders, just like I do with my clients. Because just like you can see something in a nanosecond, but when we do it a reverse perspective, guess what? Even looking in a mirror, it's reverse. We don't see everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And we only see what we want to see.
I'm a marketer, man. I'm an eternal optimist.
Yeah. Well, I look at it, it's like,
is this project going to work? You know it will.
That's right.
3 or 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, people say, well, man, I want to run some Google ads. I want to run some Facebook ads because I hear they work really well. Yeah, well, the people who brag about them will tell you that that's exactly what happens.
Right.
The people who do it will tell you that there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes before you see an ad, and the ad that you see may not be the final product.
That's
right.
it.
There's a lot of iterations and work that has to go in. It's like, you can't, the expectation is, well, just run the ads, I'll get the leads. I don't know. I mean,
I wish it was that easy.
Do you have a great message? Do you have a great offer? What's an offer?
Who's your audience?
Yeah, right. Do you know who you sell to?
Yeah.
And I think,
what are their problems?
look, can we talk about that for a second, Steve? Can we talk about, niching down and having a direct target?
Oh my gosh, yes. Because business owners you hear it at networking events all the time. Who's your target market? And they all say everyone. And I had someone who sold women's shoes, and they said to my face in a group, everyone's my target market.
They sold women's shoes, and they said everyone. So we know that 50% of that's not really true, right? Yeah.
Within 30 seconds, I had them about this big, and the rest of the audience was like, "Oh my God, my audience isn't everyone." It's not.
Just because you can help everyone doesn't mean that that's what you should be selling to. And you can't even, can you even direct a message to everyone?
Can't. Because then, what, all you're doing is competing on price. And that's it. There's no value. Take your big box stores, right? Walmart, all these. Yeah. They actually have a market, and they cater to that market.
And
Guess
it's not
what?
everyone. It's not
Not
everyone.
everyone.
Who is their target market?
They are actual value shoppers. They want someone for the lowest cost because why? They can win the low cost battle
Right.
because they buy in such volume and their margins are razor thin.
Yeah.
I mean, if they make a penny on a unit, they don't care because they sell so many units, they make millions. So you as a business cannot play in that game.
No.
Just
Well,
can't.
no business should be playing the price game.
No, ever, never.
If you're wondering, and I see this so many times every single day, it's like, well, what's the average price? What is everybody else charging? What? Okay, that mentality right there, just like you're going to lose. You're not going to be successful because you're not focusing on a target market, excellent service to that target market, which allows you to increase your prices appropriately. It's like the what's the term? The value that you create is not dependent on you. It's depending on the value you create for that other person.
Yeah, it's for your prospect. And the value is different for each one of us. It's like, I always say, take this, a VW Bug versus a Lamborghini. Okay. They both have 4 wheels, a steering wheel, an engine, all the same things. They have the exact same components. What's the difference of value? One has been showcased as high value, and the other one is not. It's the value difference. But
who's going to buy the Lamborghini and who's going to buy the VW Bug?
They have their own market. Have you ever seen like an ad for a Lamborghini?
No.
They only advertise in one place, and it's so specific. It makes you almost like for real. And it's at yacht clubs, and it's a poster in the yacht club. That's their advertising.
All right. Well, that's going to be their target market
because they know their market is not watching TV. They know that,
right?
And that's true. They know their market does not read magazines. They know their market is not listening to radio. They know their market so well and where their market lives and dies. They're specific, and they know they're not for everyone, and they don't want to be.
Well, and that lesson though can be applied to any business, even a bookkeeper or CPA. It's like, okay, let's take the financial services group for a second. Those people, by and large, don't niche down into a specialty.
Not at all. They don't.
And every single time they go with a new business, they have to learn a new language. They have to learn new operations, new sequences. They have to learn what happens in that industry.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think we can agree that 90% of business is still the same, regardless of the business. But when you start getting into the details in the books of the business and how they operate, now you start finding there are differences.
Exactly.
And then how do you become a specialist if you don't specialize? How do you answer the question, well, how can I charge more if you don't become a specialist?
Yeah. And people are so worried. Well, what about everyone else? It's like, I've worked with CPAs and bookkeepers for years, and those are a lot of my one-on-one clients. One CPA, they go, I love working with construction industry people and their family owned and operated businesses. I go, how many of those clients do you have? They go, what's a majority of my book? So what's the other part? Well, it's everyone else. Do you like working with them? Not really.
It's the 80% that's causing you the headaches.
And we actually niched them down to family owned and operated construction companies. That is what they worked on. And you thought, okay, they're going to lose all this other business. They didn't care. Their business grew because now if I owned a family owned and operated construction business and I come across Carrie, it's like, you're my CPA. You get me.
Yep. Yep. You can speak their language. You
Yep.
have you've developed some specialty tricks and tips and things that you can
That's
save them
it.
money, grow them money. You can help them because you have more specialized knowledge.
That's it. And I don't want it.
That means
you
you're
don't wanna
giving
go
them
to
more
gym.
value.
There you go. It's way more value.
Yeah. It's like I read, I'm in a lot of groups because I do a lot of research and I want to know how these people are thinking. And the thought process is always, well, I'm charging by the hour. Like, why? Why are you charging by the
Why?
hour? I mean, I have a theory, and frankly, there have been some people in the coaching world for bookkeepers and accountants that disagree with my theory, which is fine. I'm going to run it past you. If you are a business owner, a bookkeeper, and you're charging by the hour, I believe you have an employee mentality.
Absolutely.
And that until you start thinking like an entrepreneur, and doing project-based fees or flat fees, right, where your margins are, then it's built in, that you're going to continue having an employee mentality, and you're not going to be either as successful as you want, or able to grow.
I agree. And from a customer's point of view, okay, psychiatrists charge by the hour, life coaches by the hour. As a customer, when you're charging me by the hour, guess what I, as the customer, am doing? I'm keeping an eyeball on the clock.
Yep.
So are you.
Yep.
So we're both not focusing on what we should be doing because we're eyeballing the clock.
Well, okay. You brought up a whole group of people that charge by the hour, and that's their business model. But the difference is between a bookkeeper, a CPA, anybody else, between those groups, the doctors and the psychiatrists and people who you're doing by the hour, you're buying their time. You're literally buying their time. You go into their office and you have their full attention for 50 minutes.
That's it.
Right? You're buying their time. But as a bookkeeper or CPA, business owner, nobody should be buying your time. They should be buying they're not even buying your service.
No, they're not.
They're buying the product of your service, what that service creates in value for you. And I don't know how you charge by the hour for that.
Plus, as a consumer, it's like, okay, if I'm a business owner, I'm looking to cut costs, and you're charging me like $100 an hour, but the guy down the street doing the exact same thing is charging $90. I'm out of there. I'm going to the 90 now. You gave me the reason to price compare you because there's no value. Well, but if I'm on a retainer for then it up to 6 hours a month, but I'm paying you a monthly retainer and you're getting everything done in no time, I'm happy as a clam because I know you're just going to get the job done correctly, not per hour.
Right. Okay. Well, that brings up a whole nother question. It's like, are you a commodity that charges by the hour, or are you a specialist that ensures accuracy?
That's it. I've set up so many of CPAs that used to charge hourly. It's like, we're going to go to retainer packages. And all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose all this and this. And it's like, we got rid of their bad clients intentionally by raising the price with a nice letter. But once we went to the package retainer model, they didn't realize how much they were leaving on the table. They made way more. Their staffing levels now started balancing instead of, oh my God, we have 4 hours now and then nothing. And then it was the nonstop of that hourly stuff. And then they started realizing their costs started spreading out evenly versus spiking at certain times, which was throwing everything else off. And it was like, welcome to the world of getting out of hourly mentality.
You charge them to implement these different practices, and they're thinking, oh, Steve, that's going to be pretty expensive. And you want me to do what?
Yeah.
And you ended up saying, well, what's the value now?
That's it. And now by doing these packages, from a consumer's point of view, they couldn't compare this firm to that firm because it was such a value package. They couldn't break out the pieces.
Right.
So we bundled a whole bunch of things together versus, okay, we're going to do accounting, bookkeeping, and now I can compare you to anyone else. So I'm comparing apples to apples. Once we did the packages, now it's comparing an apple to a pineapple. Good luck.
Yep. No,
and the pineapple always
I
won.
agree 100%. I love that thought process. Now, I'm going to throw some questions at you.
All right.
That we haven't spoken about, we haven't prepared, and I want to get your instant feedback, because I know you're going to give me the honest feedback, but I want the instant feedback. All right. So, what is something you did radically different than your peers 5 years ago that led to pushback from them, but served you well in the long run?
Oh, this one, yeah, I got that one. Because I had a retail business, and it was part of a franchise. I reread my franchise agreement. I fired almost all the vendors, and I got an ASCII-gram from all the other franchisees in the whole state, as well as the franchisor, saying, you can't do this, you can't do this. I'm like, prove to me I can't. What I did then is went to other vendors of equal or similar and had them renegotiate all my deals. So I extended my payment terms. I actually had each vendor now giving me a marketing budget. So they were paying me to market. So I started setting all this up. I was getting pushback from every side. I was getting nasty calls from other franchisees around the country. You can't do this and blah, blah, blah. The economic downturn hit. I had these now extended payment terms, better relations with these new suppliers, and a marketing budget from each of them. I marketed the mother out of this, and I started going after, like, all the businesses are now going out of business. So I bought their databases for pennies on the dollar, threw it in the marketing funnel. My business was actually maintaining, and I was actually making money during the economic downturn.
and then all of those franchisees who were complaining, gone. Well, if they weren't gone, they were like, hey, Steve, what are you doing?
Oh, I was after they all had to close their businesses and file bankruptcy. And here I am like, hey, why is your store still open?
Right. You're doing the same thing as us. No,
other franchisees started hiring me to help them.
What, was that the beginning of Biz Coach Steve?
It was one of my businesses. Yeah. I started well, I'll go back into coaching and consulting.
All right. Here's another one. What's something that you didn't pay enough attention to, or you ignored early on, and then had to learn the hard way?
Oh, when I was running one business, listening to your staff complain about another staff person, I kind of pushed it under the rug, and then it came to a big giant swell, and I lost a lot of great people over one individual.
Early warning signs.
Early warning signs. And so
red flags are up, and you're like, yep, not paying attention to that today.
No,
I got more important fish to fry. You
guys are just griping. He's not that bad. Yeah, he really was that bad.
Yep. All right, last one. What channels have led to the building of your highest quality relationships?
Marketing channels?
You picked the topic.
Besides relationship building, because being with coffee, pre-pandemic, I love coffee meetings, and I did them, and I actually got so much business from coffee meetings. I'd actually sit in a coffee shop and have my meetings there, but other people overhear the conversation and get involved. And that actually led to a big increase in business. But I'd say it's also my connections on LinkedIn. I get to know a lot of my LinkedIn contacts, not just superficially, more of a personal level.
Okay. I've not heard I've not heard many people using LinkedIn to actually build relationships.
Yeah, it's a little tougher. It's not like, I don't go to too many networking events. I was in a state we didn't really close, so I still went out, and we're not supposed to be out, and so we're other people, but we got there and we're building a deeper relationship.
Gotcha.
So I pick and choose networking events where I can build a relationship and not palm pressing and handing out a card every 5 seconds.
Has that ever really worked?
It doesn't. That's why I choose certain networking events. I go to one where that's actually frowned upon, and highly, if they see you doing it, they come over like, what's going on? It's all about, you have to help someone in the room, give them a resource or a contact, something, before you're allowed to leave the event.
Okay.
So everyone there is there to help each other. But the quality of business owners there are highly engaged business owners, and they really want to make a deep connection. And they all of us hate that. Here's my card. Let's do coffee stuff.
Okay. I look, I like that. I personally have a deep loathing for networking events at this point.
That's why I only do this many.
You know, I cut my teeth at the chamber meetings and the morning leads meetings and the Rotary Club meetings and things of that nature. It's like, this boy is not going to do that.
I'm so done with all of that.
Well, there's so many better ways now, right?
So many better ways.
I mean, they're literally. There are very few businesses that are unable to market online.
Yeah,
very few. And there are some businesses that have been around forever, and they're so successful, and they've reached a certain capacity that they don't need to market. All right, well, fine, that's great. But if you're a business owner and you're looking to grow, you're going to spend your time doing leads meetings and networking and things. And I'm not saying that those aren't bad. They're not inherently bad, because those relationships can still have value, and you want to be community oriented. I get that. But if you're after growing your business and serving your community in that way, online is where you need to be.
I agree. Nowadays, I get so many inquiries from online or doing podcast, radio, speaking engagements. That's one of my favorite. I love being on stage and just sharing and delivering value and giving them content. It's not a sales pitch. And
right.
People come up like, wait, you're really genuine. I'm like, I'm really here to help. I mean, that's my true passion, is seeing business owners survive and thrive. I mean, that is my passion. That's my destiny. I found it.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm right there with you. I mean, look, my passion is marketing, but there's no marketing if I'm not helping anybody.
That's it.
It's like, I think we kind of gloss over. It's like, okay, you're an expert at one thing, I'm an expert at another thing. We kind of gloss over the fact that we're really, really good. And we hesitate to, pat ourselves on the back. But, the fact of the matter is, unless we have the opportunity to talk about how good we are, then it's going to be difficult for people to realize, A, they like us, B, they like what we can do, and C, think that they might want to work with us.
That's it. And it's pretty simple. When you talk to a lot of business owners, they're like, well, I'm going to stick to the facts and make it all analytical. It's like, well, where's your emotional point of view?
People do business with people they like.
They like, know, and trust.
And I mean, that's been true forever, and that part's not changing.
It's not changing.
But look, the emotional aspect of sales has been around, well, at least since Socrates, right?
Since sales were sales.
Yeah, I mean, you have these certain elements. The only thing that has changed in all of the years is the medium through which you tell your story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like before the advent of TV, people used newspapers and magazines and door-to-door salespeople, right? And as that went out of vogue and TV came in, they're like, oh man, we can reach everybody. So all those companies that said that everyone's their target market, man, they got excited. Excited. We can reach everybody, literally, right? Yeah. And they did. And it's like, okay, and the direct marketers figured out, well, that's not a good purchase for us.
Right.
Right. So they changed their thing up. So we were going to go to direct direct mail. But the message has always been delivered. It's still being delivered. The medium is the thing that changes.
That's it. And, you brought up a good point. It's like, I hear this, and I know you hear this. Direct mail is dead. It is so not dead. It still works.
Can we agree on this? That bad advertising always doesn't work.
Always. I'll totally agree on that, because Jesus, we all see it.
You probably have heard this. You go and speak with a business owner. He's like, well, what do you do for marketing? He's like, well, I've tried Facebook and it didn't work. I've tried Google and it doesn't work. I've tried social media and it doesn't work. Well, let's back up a step. When you say you tried it, did you have a target market? Did you have a message? And did you have a good offer?
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? If the answer is what do you mean, then right off the bat that anything else that they say about it doesn't matter.
Exactly. Because they're just doing the tactical side of it. They're not focused on the most important, which is the strategic side of it. And I hear it all the time. It's like, well, I tried all these things. Well, if you tried and failed just by luck by itself, just luck, the universe speaking to you, whatever you believe in, just by luck, if you tried everything and nothing worked, you would have still had something.
Yes. Oh, come on. So, yeah, I tried everything. It didn't work. Well, let me ask you this. Are you married?
Not anymore.
Well,
see, I tried everything and it didn't work.
How did you find your wife, right? You dated, right? Did you marry the first person that you ever dated?
No
and typically the answer is no. Well, why didn't you stop dating?
Exactly.
Right? Did you get better at dating or did you just luck into it?
That's it.
I'm being a little bit flip, but the reality is that's the way people treat their marketing.
They do.
Right. I tried it didn't work, but what do you know about it?
Yeah.
I mean, I spent every day in marketing, every day in marketing, and you don't. How can you possibly know as much as me about marketing?
Yeah. And then they copy someone else's ad and that ad didn't work and they can't figure out why their ad doesn't work.
Yeah, that may be the 100th iteration and it may be to a specific audience. You don't want to know what the target is. And it's like, there's so many things you don't know. What they may not even be depending on that ad to work as much as they are depending on the retargeting to work. Right. And you're like, well, what's retargeting? I don't know, All right. Tell people how they can find you.
The easiest way is through one of my sites. It's Biz Coach Steve.com /about. / for the Canadians, about.
All right. Well, that's the easiest way. You don't want to give a LinkedIn address? Or how about
LinkedIn?
This?
I am.
Give me the links and I'll put it in the
video. You got it. Yeah. I am all on LinkedIn and you can search me by just Steve Feld and I'll be there.
You'll be there. Excellent. Excellent. Steve, I have really appreciated this conversation. You have a lot of great knowledge on how to help businesses. And, it's like, I would love to have another conversation with you at some point.
I'd love that. And thanks again for having me. And I hope your listeners just get out there and get some business and grow your business. That's what I'm passionate.
Always be selling.
Always.
Very good. Thank you, Steve.
All right. Thanks again.